You know, when you think phoenix, fire's got to be the first thing, right?
Yeah, it's hard to get past those flames.
But going through all this stuff you said, it's like way more than just a bird on fire, you know?
Oh,
This
absolutely.
idea's been around forever, pops up in the craziest places,
It's true. It's everywhere.
and not always where you'd expect, like Star Trek, Doctor Who. They've got phoenixes.
Right. Definitely not just ancient mythology anymore.
So we got to dive into that, right? What
Damn it.
makes this more than just setting yourself on fire and hoping for the best?
Well, that's the thing. It's not just about the fire. It's what the fire represents. It's that hope, that renewal that really gets people across so many cultures, too.
Yeah, and that's what's wild. It's not just a Greek myth, right? We've got the Egyptian Bennu bird, the Chinese Feng Huang, even a Slavic firebird.
Almost like the phoenix had its own passport back then.
Seriously. Globe-trotting bird of fire, who knew?
But that's got to mean something, right? That this idea pops up everywhere. It definitely points to something deeper. This universal need for symbols of renewal, of starting over, of hope, really, which honestly tracks with what we're aiming for with this deep dive, right?
Totally. Like, our listeners are into this stuff, they get it. But even beyond just coming back from the ashes, it's the whole process that's interesting, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about being alive again. It's about what you become after the fire.
And that's got to resonate with people, right? I mean, everyone's gone through stuff, had to rebuild, reinvent.
Exactly. It's like personal growth on a mythical scale.
Hmm.
And there are some really interesting parallels there, even in psychology. Like, you ever hear of Carl Jung?
Vaguely, remind me.
So he was this big deal psychologist, and he saw the phoenix as this powerful symbol of what he called individuation.
Okay. Sounds intense.
It's actually pretty cool. It's basically the journey of becoming a whole person, like the best, truest version of yourself.
Right, got it.
And that journey, it ain't always pretty. Jung says it involves confronting the parts of ourselves we don't like, the shadow self, and kind of integrating them into who we are. Kind of like the phoenix burning away the old to make room for the new, you know?
Whoa, okay, so you're saying, like, facing our flaws, the stuff we hide, that actually helps us grow.
Exactly. It's about accepting all parts of ourselves, even the messy bits, and through that, we transform.
Huh, never thought of it like that. So it's not just bouncing back from a bad day, it's using that to actually level up as a person.
Exactly. And this whole Phoenix's personal growth thing, it's not just some abstract idea either. It pops up in the real world, too.
You talking about that phoenix effect thing, where, like, a forest burns down, but then it grows back even better.
Exactly. It's wild, right? Ecologists use that term to describe how ecosystems regenerate after a huge disaster.
So even nature's got its own phoenix moments.
Oh, totally. And it's not just forests either. Think
Yeah.
about businesses that go bankrupt but then restructure and come back stronger, or people who go through huge life changes and come out thriving. It's that same phoenix energy, just in different forms.
Right. It's like this universal ability to adapt and evolve even when things get tough.
Exactly. It's about becoming something new, something more resilient, rather than just trying to go back to how things were before.
Okay, so we've talked about the phoenix as a symbol of renewal and transformation, but I gotta ask, how did ancient cultures view the whole fire thing? Was it like spontaneous combustion or was there something more to it?
Well, the sources you shared don't exactly give us a step-by-step guide to phoenix self-immolation.
Yeah, it's not like we can just call up a phoenix and be like, hey, how's that whole rebirth thing work?
Right. But if we use our imaginations a bit, we can explore some pretty interesting ideas.
Okay, so we've been like really trying to nail down this whole fiery finale thing. But I think it's time to, explore how different cultures saw this mythical bird.
Yeah, good call.
We already talked about the Egyptian Bennu bird and the Chinese Feng Huang, but something tells me there's like way more to uncover there. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Each culture kind of took that core phoenix idea and ran with it,
Yeah.
adding their own layers of symbolism and meaning. And honestly, it just makes the whole thing even richer.
Right. It's like global storytelling at its finest. But let's back up a bit. Go back to Egypt for a sec. What's the deal with this Bennu bird? Is it just a phoenix with a different name tag, or is there more to it?
Oh, it's definitely more than just a name swap. See, in ancient Egypt, this Bennu bird, it was a big deal.
Okay, how big are we talking here?
Well, like the phoenix, it was tied to fire and rebirth, for sure. But the Egyptians, they took it even further. They saw it as the symbol of creation itself.
Well, hold up. Creation, like the beginning of everything.
Exactly. It represented that whole cyclical nature of time, the life-giving energy of Ra, their sun god. It's pretty heavy stuff.
So are we saying the Bennu is like the VIP of renewal for the Egyptians. That's impressive, even for a bird that supposedly comes back from the dead. But what about the Chinese feng huang? That one always felt different to me. A little more like zen, less in-your-face fire than the Greek phoenix.
You're spot on. The feng huang is all about that balance. It's often shown as this super elegant bird with these crazy long tail feathers.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those.
And all that visual stuff, it ties into this idea of yin and yang, those opposite but interconnected forces in Chinese philosophy.
To get to maintain that balance, right. But just for anyone listening who might not be fluent in ancient Chinese philosophy,
Sure, yeah.
yin and yang, it's all about balance. Yin is the darker, more chill energy, while yang is the brighter, more active one. They need each other, kind of like, I don't know, light and shadow, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And the feng huang, it embodies that perfect harmony. It's not just about renewal, it's about virtue, good luck, even royalty in Chinese culture.
So it's like that same core concept of rebirth and new beginnings, but with a distinctly Chinese style. It's like the phoenix got a cultural makeover. But hold on, we can't forget about that Slavic firebird you mentioned earlier. That thing sounds like something straight out of a fairy tale.
Right, it's got this really magical vibe to it. They say it's got these glowing feathers, each one so bright it could light up a whole room.
Okay, so we're talking next level nightlight then.
Basically. And it's different from the Greek phoenix too. See, the phoenix is reborn through fire, right? But the firebird, its power is all in those magical feathers. People would look for them, hoping for wishes to come true or for good luck.
So it's like a flying wishing well. That's pretty awesome. But it seems like every culture took this fiery bird idea and made it their own. It's kind of amazing how it can be like universal and specific at the same time.
Right. And I think that's part of why the phoenix has stuck around for so long. It speaks to this very human need for stories of hope, of change, of beating the odds. But it does it in a way that just clicks with different cultures and traditions.
It's like it's speaking a universal language, but with different accents, you know?
Ugh.
But all these cultural takes are cool and all, but what makes this relevant now? Like, we're not exactly hanging out waiting for a magical bird to burst into flames, are we?
Good point. But that's the thing about myths and symbols, right? They last. The phoenix, as out there as it sounds,
Yeah.
it speaks to something very real. And all of us, we all face stuff. Things get hard. We feel burned out.
Oh, tell me about it. Life's got a wicked curveball sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the phoenix, it reminds us that even when things are tough, we can renew, grow, rise above it all. We have that potential inside us.
It's like that saying, what doesn't kill you?
Makes you stronger.
Yeah, but with a way cooler mascot. But really, the phoenix is like this, I don't know, beacon of hope, telling us we can get through anything, come out the other side, maybe a little singed,
A little wiser, hopefully.
definitely wiser. But ultimately, we get through it.
And that's a message that resonates no matter where you're from or what you're going through.
It's wild, right? This phoenix thing, it's ancient history, but it feels like totally current.
Oh, for sure. Like it's having a major comeback moment or something.
Totally. And it's not just us geeking out, right? This whole phoenix message, the hope, the resilience, the rising from the ashes thing, seems like it hits different these days, you know?
Totally. It's like the world's craving a little phoenix energy right now, and honestly, who can blame them?
Right. And it's everywhere you look. Movies, books, those video games we were talking about, even company logos, right? Everyone wants a piece of that phoenix magic.
It's true. And it makes sense, right? People are drawn to those stories of overcoming, of coming out stronger. And the phoenix just nails that visually, too. You can't beat it.
Such a powerful image, that whole bird engulfed in flames thing, and then boom, back to life. Brighter than ever.
And it's more than just a cool visual, right? Like, think about the city of Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, yeah, good point.
They named it after the phoenix for a reason. They wanted that symbolism, that whole rebirth idea, because even cities, they go through tough times, you know?
Yeah, they have their own comebacks, their own phoenix moments.
Exactly. And I think that's something we can all relate to on a personal level,
Right.
too. No matter what we're going through, there's that potential for renewal, for finding that strength within ourselves, that inner phoenix, just waiting to, rise from the ashes.
So what you're saying is we've all got a little phoenix inside us just waiting for the right moment to, like, spread its wings and set the world on fire.
There you go. That's the spirit. But yeah, it's been awesome diving into all this phoenix stuff with you, all these different angles, the cultures, the psychology. It's amazing how one symbol can hold so much,
It's been a wild ride. But I think the biggest takeaway for me, and maybe for our listeners too, is that reminder that we're not defined by the tough stuff, but by how we come back from it. And honestly, that's a pretty hopeful message, don't you think?
Couldn't agree more. The phoenix reminds us that hope, resilience, all that good stuff. It's in our nature. It's part of who we are, even when things get tough.
Well said. And on that note, gotta give a huge thanks to you out there for joining us on this fiery deep dive into all things Phoenix. We hope you've learned a thing or two, felt that little spark of inspiration, and maybe even discovered a bit of your own inner Phoenix along the way.